Jesus is the answer for the world today.
Hello family, Pastor Lalu Christian Pentecostal Church, and today we want to continue our conversations about the idea of looking for the living among the dead. And as I was reading actually Galatians, the book of Galatians, there was the Apostle Paul was talking to the Galatians about the idea he spoke about Abraham specifically, and how, Isaac was a child of promise, and it got me thinking. And it reminded me of the idea of, how God came to Abraham and promised him something. Promised him seed or an heir, right? And, Abraham believed. And Abraham believed that God would provide. But then what comes along the idea that, well, God is going to provide me a son, but, let me help him out. So Abraham went looking for an heir himself in the things that he understood and the things that he knew how to do. Sarah told him, hey, here's my handmaiden Hagar. Go on ahead onto her, and she will bear you a child, a seed, and essentially because it was her handmaiden, the idea was, well, that heir is from your line, and I own the woman, so therefore it's mine. But as we see, that is not how that played out. Until this very day, that idea of saying, let me go and do it myself and look for God's promise where it was not promised from, has led to the world that we live in today. So just briefly, I just want to share on that very quickly. The idea of, when God promises something, that is where life is. I talked about the river of life. That is where life is. When we decide to look for God in places where God is not to be found, in places where God said that you should not be found there, those things should not be counted among you. When we go looking for God in those places, we find dead things, and we find death, and we find consequences and repercussions for our actions that should never have been if we had simply walked in the path and the way that God desired and commanded for us to do. So let's continue to look for God only in the places where he has said he will be found. Let's think about that. Simply, God said, hey, choose life. And that is what we should choose. God says, these are the things you should think about. That's what we should think about. If God says, hey, I am the God of X, Y, and Z, he is the God of X, Y, Z. AKA, let us believe God for who he says he is. Not let's add on to what we think he is. And not look for him in places where he said he will not be found. God bless you. And let's have a blessed week searching for God and searching for life.